My name's Jason. I'm here with the All Things Open team, and we're here with Sahdev. Please introduce yourself to our community.
Yeah, hello, Jason. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. My name is Sahdev Zala. I work at IBM as an open source developer and as a developer advocate.
All right. Well, I want to talk about artificial intelligence, and first I want to ask you, how do you feel about AI specifically in the open source space?
Well, I feel great. I feel excited about AI. It's been transformative. It's reshaping the way we work, right? And I feel more excited about the AI developments happening in open source side. So, for example, let me give a couple of examples, right?
Perfect.
So the first one would be the PyTorch project. The PyTorch Foundation was from just less than 2 years back, and the PyTorch project, which was originally started at Meta, become part of the PyTorch Foundation, and that's very exciting. It's like fully open source, open governance, right? Lot of committers, contributors,
right?
It has become a de facto open source framework for machine learning and deep learning. So that is very exciting.
Awesome.
I'm excited about that. The second thing I want to mention is the project called InstructLab, which came out of IBM and Red Hat. And I think it's a first of its kind project which lets you do the model development, AI model development in open source way, right? So it allows you the collaborative way of developing models. So instead of creating, thousands of variants or n number of variants of model, you can now actually collaborate and develop, as an open source way, right?
Awesome. Okay.
So, and then we have other projects like, Kubernetes, Kubeflow for, doing this AI distributed training, for model deployment at scale. And, there are other projects like LLM, LangChain, OpenAI Triton. So it's
wow, there's a lot. We just getting started, right?
A lot of things that are exciting.
Well, are you using AI in your daily work? And if so, how are you using it?
Yeah, I do actually. Well, matter of fact, I'm a developer in the AI side, right? So I'm a contributor to this project called PyTorch.
Okay.
My team and myself, we contribute to the project. That's part of our daily work.
Well, can you tell me more about PyTorch?
Absolutely, yeah. The PyTorch project is it's an open source framework, for machine learning, especially for deep learning.
Okay.
So this deep learning itself is complicated, but thanks to technology like PyTorch, which makes it way easier. And I think that's one of the reasons I believe that making this AI, the deep learning, mainstream, right? So. It provides you libraries in different domains like vision, audio, and others, right? And it's a matter of fact, it's a core open source component of IBM's Watson X AI platform.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, outside of that, do you have a favorite AI tool or an AI tool that the open source community should be aware of that they should keep a pulse on?
Yeah, so I use a lot of IBM AI tools, that are built on top of Watson X platform. So my favorite ones are called Watson X Discovery, which is basically, as the name says, you use to discover information from pile of docs, right? From pile of files. Also get insight of the document, the data. The second thing I would mention is called Watson X AI Assistant. It's actually pretty cool, It's easy to use, and it actually empowers you to build your own, bot, based on your need. And start using it, and like I say, you can do it so quickly.
Is that for a local dev environment?
It is. It is to build this new bots, right?
Okay.
But it is available, as in like a free trial for anybody to try it.
Okay.
Right. And then users has choices around different tools, right?
Hey, this is Todd with All Things Open. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. We've got a lot of new content coming we think you're going to be interested in. One final favor, be sure to go to allthingsopen.org, allthingsopen.org to see everything that we do. Back to the video.
Thinking about developers, when they're looking at AI tools, what are some of the things that they should consider when reviewing them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it depends on the use cases, right? The first is like, hey, are you looking to use for your personal usage, right? Are you looking for business, right? Are you just want to use it for entertaining yourself? Because there are tools out there, right? or you are serious about it, right? So, and are you looking for free tools versus something that you will be, investing, you are paying for it, right? So then cost is a consideration.
Right.
Besides that, something called transparency, right? The AI models are as good as the data they are trained with. So, you definitely want to do your research, some homework that, what are the data, being used for a particular tool or, for the platform that tool's being developed, right? So that you got to know what's going on. And you also get to know about, things like data-related copyright issues, and the other thing is, being in open source world, I think you should also check if the platform is been built on open source projects, right?
Right.
Because that's I think important considerations, just to see this avoid this vendor lock-in, right? At IBM, part of my work, right? The one other thing I want to mention is working on this IBM Granite family of models, right? So they are also, we also open source them. They are available for folks to use as a free download from Hugging Face.
Okay.
Right. So that's that kind of things are great, right? You got to get it, you can play with it, you use it, right? And then you make your decision for further business related investment.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's one piece of advice or tip for the All Things Open community that can save them time or just make their lives better?
Well, I've been with this community for a longer time now, and thanks to you, thanks to Todd Lewis and the team for building this community, in this area, right? Which is great, I know the community is built off, open source experts, right? Like the people are doing open source for a longer time, but there are people who are new to open source. The community is growing, right? So
Right.
more people joining. There are students, there are job seekers, there are researchers, right? So I want to give that advice in two pieces. One thing is, I would say, contribute to open source. Okay, so if you are using open source, you just you're part of the community, so definitely you love open source, right? We love open source,
Yeah.
right? And one of I think the best way to show your love to open source is by contributing to the open source projects of that the one you use or the one you like. And that's how we keep open source great, right? So by all means, do that. It's actually very rewarding. I can tell based on my own experience for working on open source for, I think, around 12 years now. So it's very rewarding personally, professionally. The second thing I want to tell is, for the folks who've been, doing this kind of contributions for a longer time, who knows open source very well, that be a mentor.
Yeah.
Help these new folks to grow. Their growth is as much as important as our contributions.
Perfect. I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time today, Sahdev. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Jason.
All right. Thanks so much.